right, we're going to get started with the showmanship fundamentals. Joining us is Matthew Johnston and Audrey Johnston. Audrey won overall showmanship winner at the Gold Ribbon this fall at the Michigan State Fall Show, which is the event where all of the competitors from across the state that have won at their local county fair get to come compete for the best overall showman within the state. And so she won that, and so it's an honor and pleasure to get her to teach this class, and she's going to go over how to do showmanship, and I'm looking forward to it.
So today we're going to be talking about basic showmanship stuff. So whenever you come up to the table, you always are going to have your rabbit tucked in whichever arm you're going to be more like your dominant arm. So if I'm right-handed, I'm going to grab my rabbit with my right hand. So therefore I put it in my left arm. So you want to make sure everything's tucked in, everything's nice and tidy, and then you're going to wait for the judge to say go ahead and place your rabbit on the table. So when you do that, I always let the rabbit pop its head up a little bit so I'm not struggling as hard. But I take my index finger, put it in between the two ears, and then I wrap it around the right ear. And then I take my thumb and I put it like holding the left ear. So then you pick up, supporting the shoulders. You're not going to scruff it, but you're going to want to support the shoulders for when you go to pick it up. So you pick up the front, you're going to put the butt down first, then the front. And then when I go to move my rabbit to face towards the judge, I like to put my hand like this up under the rib. So I have a hold of the rib cage so I know she's not going to be going anywhere. And then I take my hand and I just scoop the butt, pick it up far enough to where the toenails aren't going to be dragging, turn it facing the judge, place the butt down first, and then the front. So when I do the legs, it says to cut like you're lining the eyes or the feet up with the eyes. So I always put my hand going like along the nose so I can actually see the eyes. So you line up the front feet with the eyes. And then, so since I did this front foot first, I'm going to want to do this back hind leg the next. So I do right, left, right, left. You're not going to want to do right, left, left, right. You're going to want to keep with the same sides. So now I run my finger down the rabbit's leg right here. You're going to want to line that up. Do the same thing to the next side. And then you're just going to gently pull out the tail. Make sure it's straight. You're making sure it's not crooked or anything. Set the ears and then down the fur. And then you'll just step back, put your hands on your side, and then if your rabbit moves, you're just going to pick it up, repose it. And then once you're stepped back, you're going to put your hand to your side. So then the judge is going to say, go ahead and handle your rabbit, which is just turning it to the side, picking it up, and then stepping back. So to pick it up, you're going to turn it the same way as you turned it towards the judge. So up under the rib cage, scooping the butt, turning, setting it down, wrapping your fingers around the ears for support, supporting the shoulders, picking up, and then tucking in the legs, and then stepping back. Then the judge will say, okay, go ahead and set your rabbit on the table. So you're going to pick it up, again, pop its head out a little, wrap around the ears, support the shoulders, if she'll work with me. Then turn the rabbit towards the judge. So you're just picking up the front, scooping the butt, and then now we're gonna line up the front feet with the eyes, lining up the back feet, then tail, ears, fur. And then the next step is always the most, like the hardest part about showmanship, because there is so many steps to rabbit showmanship, but there's an easy way to remember it. So when you start showmanship, the examination part, you're just gonna pick it up the same way that you've been turning it. And you're gonna wanna think of it as one big circle. So you start at the eyes, you go to the ear base, you go to the ears, and then you work your way down the body. And you always are gonna wanna start on the judge's side. So just look over the rabbit. You don't have to touch its eyeball, just get it close enough to where they'll blink. Do the same thing on this side. And then we're gonna flip it. So the way that you've been like picking it up and stuff, you're gonna do the same way, but instead of turning it towards the judge, we're just gonna flip it. So you just grab and roll. And if your rabbit acts up, don't worry, it happens. Just blow on its nose to get it to calm down a little bit. So then I take my index finger and then I go up the nose. We're looking for any like mucus or anything that could be coming out of the nose, making sure it's not sick or anything. Then I take my fingers like this, and then you want to go low enough on the rabbit's mouth to be able to pull back the front teeth and get the bottom lip. So you want to be able to see the top and bottom sets of teeth. And when we're checking the teeth, we're looking for chipped teeth, broken teeth, malocclusion, which is just when the teeth overlap. So you pull down, get both sets of teeth, and then just take your index finger and you're gonna go down the dewlap area or the chin area. When we're doing this, we're looking for abscess or anything that could be wrong. So then I take my fingers, my thumb and my index finger, pinch the foot, lift up, and extend it forward. When we're doing this step, we're looking for any broken legs or anything like that. So you're gonna do that on this side too. And you're gonna wanna be taking your time. You're gonna feel like you're going super slow, but you wanna make sure you're going slow enough to making sure that you're looking at everything and not just skimming over it, because you could be missing something. But after we lift up the feet, we're gonna check toenail. So I take my thumb, push right in the middle of the paw, and you see how she sticks her nails out like that? That makes it super easy to go through and count. But you're still gonna wanna push back the fur on these toes. And when I'm doing this step in my head, I'm counting like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, just so I know I'm spending enough time on each toe. So I'll count. And then you're not gonna wanna forget the dew claw. Do the same thing on this side. Just making sure that we have 5 toes on the front. Just blow on her nose, she'll be okay. Then I take my hand and I make like an L. Well, backwards L. But, so go up underneath the arms. Go down the body. We're looking for any abscess again, or tumors, anything. You're gonna push out these back legs, and when you're doing this, it's just like when you're pulling the front feet up on these. Instead of pulling these legs out, we push them back, and we're just looking for more broken legs. Then I take my fingers like this, I scoop up under the hock, and I just go down once. You're not gonna wanna go up and down or anything like that. Just make sure you do each step once. So the rabbit flips back over, you flip her back over, calm her down a little, and you're just gonna pick up where you left off. So again, pushing in the foot with my thumb, counting in my head, making sure we have 4 toenails on the back. And then for this part, I like to take my middle finger, go up under the tail, hold the base of the tail with my thumb with in my middle finger. And then I press to check if it's a buck or a doe, so a girl or a boy. This one's a doe. And then I leave my fingers under the tail and I run down the tail. This way you're checking for any broken tail or anything screw tail, anything that could be wrong. And then once I'm done checking the tail, I like to flip my fingers so then my middle finger becomes on top and then my index finger becomes on bottom, because the next step when you roll her over is to check the tail. So then now you don't have to go looking for the tail, it's just already there. So now when you check the tail, you're always going to want to pull it out, up, and then step back, look at it, and make sure it's straight, because if the rabbit has screw tail, the tail would be sideways like this. So she's holding her tail nice and good. Then you're going to come to the front of the rabbit, and I just take my hand and go like brush up the ears to make sure, because if you want to see, if you're checking the ear carriage. So if they have good strong ear carriage, if she had bad ear carriage, her ears would be like floppy and all over the place. Now we do the meat and body, fur, and then you just let the fur roll back to its natural place. Then we're going to scoop the rabbit up, pick up the butt, turn towards the judge, place our feet, tail, ears, fur. And then they'll go into the questions part. And I do want to add, I'm pretty sure I skipped a step in the beginning. So when you're checking, you do the eyes, you're going to gently pinch each ear base before you move on. So you're going to pinch. When you're pinching the ear base, if they shake their head, it's because there's something down in there that might be irritating them. So then the next step, you're going to open the ear. I just take my fingers and my thumb, look down in the ear and run your finger along the sides, because when you look down in the ear, you should be able to see like any mites or anything that's in there that could be causing the rabbit to shake its head. So you do the ears, and then you'll move on to flipping the rabbit and then moving on after that. Is there any questions? Yeah.
Will you repeat the question too? Did you hear it?
No, I did not.
All right, what was your question?
Now entering the ring, our first of 3 classes of junior showmanship, class 113.
They're cool. They're.
Class 114. First call, class 114.
Her question was, does a ruby-eyed white, or roo, have white or black nails?
They should be whatever the rabbit is, like the main color. So like this, it's a New Zealand white, so they should all have, it should have complete white toenails all throughout the rabbit. If you do have a black toenail, it's a disqualification. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you know if judges prefer or like you walking through and saying different steps?
So when you're doing so the question was, when you're doing showmanship, should you be talking through it? No. I never talk through it. It's just not something that we do here. And when you're doing your steps, I'll go through the showmanship thoroughly again. But you're going to want to look up at the judge, not while you're doing a step, but in between each step. So say I have the rabbit flipped over, and I just got done pulling up the feet. I'm going to stop for a second, look at the judge, and then continue on. Because if I'm looking at the judge while I'm doing a step, you're not completely doing the step if you're looking at the judge while you're counting toenails. So it's just like a distraction. So whenever you do look at the judge, because you will want to be looking at the judge, you don't have to have a staring contest with them, but just glance up and make sure you're making that eye contact. Any other questions before I go through it again fully? Walk up to the table. Everything's tucked and tidy. Then I let her pop her head up. Butt, and then the front. Scoop. And just to show you guys a little bit better, I have my index finger in between. I'm holding the rib with my fingers and my thumb. So then, well, she's not supposed to go anywhere. And then I turn. Feet line up with the eyes. Run your finger down and line up the feet. Pull out the tail. Set the ears, and then down with the fur. And then handling your rabbit, scoop him back up, scoop the butt, turn, pick it up, and just make sure everything's tucked before you even step back. So everything's touched. Now judge can say, okay, go ahead, place your rabbit back on the table.
First call, class 115, junior showmanship. First call, class 115.
Turn it back towards the judge. Feet. Tail, ears, fur. So now examining. And back towards this way. Eyes. Ear base. Ear base. Inside of the ear. Flip your rabbit over. And if your rabbit doesn't cooperate like this, don't take it out on the rabbit. Things happen. Sometimes rabbits are just having a bad day. Nose, teeth, checking the chin, feet, pulling them up and stretching them out. And then now's the time I would probably just glance up, look at the judge, make sure that we make some eye contact, and then I'll pick up where I left off by pushing my thumb into the foot and counting these toenails, making sure that there's 5 of them there. They're all the same color. Nothing's broken. Same thing to the next foot. Then up under the rabbit's arms, down the body, stretching out these back feet, looking back, making sure they're all the way stretched out, hooking the back foot, going down once, going down once again, counting these back toenails. So there should be 5 on the front, 4 on the back. Up under the tail, holding the tail with my thumb and my middle finger, checking to see if it's a buck or a doe, checking for a broken tail, and then we'll flip her back over. And then we're going to check the tail one more time, checking the ears for ear carriage, checking the body, checking the fur, so density and stuff like that. And then just remember to turn it back towards the judge. And then we're going to reset it back up. Is there any questions?
How do you get the dirtiness out of the ears?
What I do is we take like a baby wipe and just gently wipe down their ear just to get any dirties out. And that should get it. Or sometimes if we have to, if it's like real dirty, we'll take a little Q-tip and just gently, not go down too far in their ear, but just enough to get it clean. Well, thanks for having me.
And thank you. That's for you. Hi everyone, it's David with Rabbit Show. Have you learned something in this video so far? Hit that like button so that you continue to see our newest videos.